Good morning, everybody. Woo! It's been a whirlwind of a week, and oh my gosh, so much happening. You can tell summer has started, and the storms last night, weren't they crazy? So I have some updates, I have some news, I have things I want to share, but I know that some of you are really short on time, so I want to share first the card that I'm making today because it doesn't take a long time since I'm not actually stamping and fussy cutting everything. I'm sad that these images do not have thin cuts. The only thing that the images in this bundle has is a punch to punch out the little submarine, and I gotta be honest, it's the one thing in the whole set that's super easy to fussy cut. So I'm like, I don't need to start storing giant punches when I can cut that out easier than all these other little parts and pieces. So I fussy cut a whole bunch of little things out and got them kind of ready, sort of ready. I'll show you a little bit about how I did that. But this is this is one of those stand-up easel cards. I've made them like 100 times now. Exaggeration, but I've made them a few times where basically I just use a piece of 11-inch paper and I score it. I'm looking at the marks on my thing. I score it at 4 1/4 here, and again here at 9 and at 10. And basically you just mountain fold it like into an accordion. And that kind of makes your stand-up part. And then the pop-up is just a little piece that is 7 inches and it's like 3 by 7, scored at, sorry, I'm trying to read my measurements. I got this new glass mat. I can't wait to talk about it. Scored at 1 1/2. Boom. All right, so this will glue onto the back here, and this will glue onto the front once it's all folded like this. Isn't that great? So that's basically the card, right? And the Submarine Life set has a lot of fun images on it. There's not a lot in the catalog right now that I would call fun. A lot of it is florals and beautiful stuff. My gosh. But I have a few things today to show you that are kind of fun. And so I'm stretching a little. Anyway, I did these assembly line style. And one of the things that made them so fast, I have a tendency to stamp like a whole bunch of images and then just sit in front of the TV to cut things out. And like this greenery, if you stamp it green onto green cardstock, that really helps. It makes your no coloring, right? No, all these are like solid images. Whenever I see these black images without outlines, it's like, ooh, no coloring. The other, what else was I going to show? Oh, the paper that I used for the water is that Full of Life rainbow paper, because the back of it, has all of those color washes on it that, you see that? Like, and I just cut that out, and look at the differences in the cards. The backgrounds, I was able to get all of these backgrounds out of like one pack easily. I have used so much of that paper. Okay, so I'm gonna set those aside for a sec. And the other fun thing that I did on this card is I made it a wobbler. I think those are really fun, and I want to show you, I handmade my own wobbler. If you don't have one, I can show you how to make it, because that is like, it's not hard. It's just you got to have the right stuff. Oh, Action Wobbler, you can buy them. This is a purchased one. And basically it's got adhesive on the back with a platform, adhesive on the front with a platform, and then like a little spring in the middle, like that. And so when you attach this to your card base, attach this to whatever you want to wobble, the spring makes it boingy, boing, like that. I have tons of these because when I go to the expos, whenever I see a package, I just pick them up because they're so much fun to put on, you know, all these cards. If you have a card that's sort of flat and not as interactive or something, they're just fun. You can put them on I'm trying to remember the stamp company that has the little old ladies. I think it's Art Impressions that has the little old ladies that are bent over and stuff. And sometimes they'll put these wobblers on their butts and they just do all kinds of crazy stuff. But they are really cute for balloons and cakes and anything that you want to move. It's little submarines. Isn't that cute? I just think it's adorable. It looks like it's just floating along. Okay, so let me show you how to make your own wobbler. Now, I have these spools of wire that are left over from like, gosh, the 90s, right? I have them. I get them every now and then in the jewelry department, and I don't make jewelry, okay? I know how to make a lot of jewelry because my sister was a Girl Scout leader and that was one of our projects at one time. But, you know, our kids are like 30, so we don't do projects like that anymore. But basically, I take this little spool of wire and I take a pen or a pencil and I just start wrapping it around and making it into a spiral. This is 0.7 millimeter wire. You could use thinner. When you start getting too thin, it starts to bend instead of wobble. Like, it doesn't hold up to the, you know, the use. Anyway, so I just basically wrapped this wire around a pen. I have this big spool of wrapped wire now. And what I like to do then is take just a scrap piece of paper. I have like a lot of these size scraps. And I'll make a base and a top. Right? And what I do is I put a big glob of glue in and hold it. But like if you kind of stretch that bottom part out and then use some Terran tape or red line tape or, you know, something super duper strong, so that you can, I like to cut my tape. I know you could tear it, but basically you're just attaching this down and the tape helps to kind of hold it in place while the glue dries so that you're not standing there holding it the whole time. That's, sorry, my hands are sticky. So it's sticking to my hands. Okay, so if I put a big glob of glue on there and I put my wire down and I put my sticky tape down to hold it in place, that's what I've got, right? Now, I just need that to dry for a bit. and move that. And then from there, you just have to figure out how big you want it. You don't need a lot of wire. Maybe this, on this one here, I have 3 little rings of wire. You don't need gobs, and use wire trimmers or scissors you don't care about and cut that wire. And then you can see I have more for later. And then you do the same thing to the other end, right? You're basically just going to take a piece of tape and you're gonna put a bunch of glue Sorry, I'm trying to do this under camera and under my face at the same time. And I'm just gonna lay that into the glue, put the tearing tape down to hold it in place. Now I have a wobbler, okay? I have a wobbler. Whatever I put on here is going to wobble. And that is how I do bulk cards. I just sit and make a whole bunch of these at a time, boing, boing, boing. Now, if your image is smaller, let's just say you were gonna put this little, I don't know, this little guy, and see I made my background so big. You can just trim it all down. Use a pair of scissors and cut that down smaller. You could even just use a hole punch or something, you know, a circle punch or something to make these and make them smaller. The action wobblers that you buy, this is how big they are. So you don't, I just find the larger size easier to work with when I'm making them on my own. And so I'm just gonna set that aside to dry. I've made one here. I have a purchased one here. I could use either one. See, I've cut that one down. So I'm gonna use the one I made, boing, boing, boing. And you can see there I used like 4 or 5 rings. And you can get an idea for how tight you want that to be, right? So let's just start putting the card together really quick. It doesn't take a long time because I have a lot of it all done already. I have like all the little parts and pieces done essentially. Let's see, I have that, I have that, I have a little fish, I have some of the little seaweed, this little fish, gosh, all the little parts. And this card has a lot of little parts because I've been messing around making these for a little while. And I stamped every single image on here because I wanted to check it. And by doing that, you know, it just took a little time, but I had everything fussy cut. All right, let's see. I have a bunch of these little pink fish. And what I did because the pink fish are almost impossible to fussy cut, I went ahead and like they're in a trio. See the trio? So I took a marker that matched my paper. And you can see here, I used like a turquoise marker. And on here, I would be like looking for a marker that matches pretty close. And I would just outline around them. You know you're gonna fussy cut, so they don't have to be like perfect. But if you do this, that way, when you fussy cut, it'll have a blue outline. It'll look like they're a part of your scene. It doesn't have to be the perfect match, but your fish will look a lot better than with that white. So, and you could do that with everything, but like I could do that with everything, but I did not because, you know, ish, that's a lot. So one thing I did on here was I stamped bubbles on the side using white daisy ink. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to put it together. But when you use the white daisy ink, it's a pigment ink, and it will take a little time to dry. So that's the only reason I'm not doing it, is because I want to have this put together and not be worried about getting white ink like all over me. Okay. Like normally that would be one of the last things I do, is the white daisy. Okay, so now I'm ready to put this part on. And basically, I'm going to hook it onto the back and the front. And you can use any kind of adhesive you want. You can use tear and tape. You can use, you know, whatever. But I am going to put a little glue on the bottom and line this up kind of centered. And that way you have your front of your card ready. And then I'm going to flip it over, and you can see how much overlaps right there. Not a lot. And I'm just going to fold that over. There we go. Ta-da. Our card is made. Do you see that? Okay. Now we're just going to decorate. Now, one of the things that I started with was the bottom of the card, because, you know, if you're making a scene, essentially, you want it in layers. And so the first thing I want is more of this ocean, and you can see the back of that full of life paper. It's bold. But it does make kind of a cool water effect. That paper is a huge winner in my book. I bought a second pack of it because I am using so much of it. It's one of those things that I, again, started hoarding, and because I love it, and I was afraid that I would get into a point where I didn't want to use it. I'm going to put down, I put a little bit of greenery first, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the sand down. Now the sand in the front, I want it popped up just a little bit so that I can tuck things in behind it. And so I just need super thin, where's my super thin? I just need my super thin, narrow, whatever. And I don't know why I'm using these. I put my little scissors on a table because I've been fussy cutting stuff out over there. All right, so I'm offsetting this just a tiny bit, but not a lot. And I'm not worried about those little gaps, because now I'm gonna tuck things into my spaces, and by doing like the seaweed into those spaces, I can fill in the gaps, the holes that I have made, just like that. And then I have a little crab that I want to put along the bottom. And then I have, okay, so I have an edge over here and an edge over here that doesn't look great. Excuse me. I think that's drywall dust. We have the drywaller people at our house, and they're sanding today. So I'm just gonna put this little guy here to tuck in. I don't want them hanging over too far because I want it to fit in my envelope. But at least that kind of fills in that space. And then over here, this little, I cut this little shell because it did a good job of filling in space. So now I have my bottom. Isn't it cute? I just love it. Now I also wanted to show you, I went ahead and this little water line, I stamped it a couple of times on the top. You may not be able to see it on the camera, but you can see it on this one because the color is contrasting so much. So I'm just gonna start putting my little people on, and I'm gonna have him in the center, right? My little sub in the center. So I'm just working around it and putting things on. Now, when I put my little message on, a couple of things to note. I don't want it hanging out way over here. It won't fit in my envelope. You want it narrow in there. And you don't want to put adhesive on the whole thing because it's only going to be on this popped up area. So you have to be careful about how much adhesive where you attach your adhesive. So I'm putting that there. See that? Now I have these little fish that I cut out, and they're just fillers. You don't even have to use them, but I liked the idea of them being in the like seagrass like that. Okay, last thing, two things left. One thing is we need to do our wobbler. And so I have my wobbler, and there's two ways you can do it. You can attach it to your image first and then attach it down, or you can attach it here and then put this on. It's a little safer to attach it to your image first so that you know it is all covered, and you want to use an adhesive that's pretty strong because this is going to get some action, right? And so I use my liquid glue. You could use tear and tape, whatever you've got that you think is strong enough to withstand that. Red line tape would be great. Some of those little tape runners are not very strong, and if you start wobbling it too much, the whole thing would come off. So that's why, ta-da, isn't that cute? Now, the last thing is Stampin' Up! Has these little gems that are little bubbles. They're clear, plain bubbles. And I thought they looked adorable. Like, you know, if you think about like this little guy with the snorkel down here, he would have bubbles going up. And so I'm just gonna put a couple of bubbles, kind of like it's he's breathing. You could also put more bubbles up high, whatever you want. You could put another one up here by the little octopus. So there's my card. I hope you love it. It's really fun to make these, and you can make anything wobble. So look at your stamps in a different way and try to figure out what you can make wobble on your cards, because I think that's really, really a blast. So just to show you, this is my envelope that I keep with my stamp set, and look, all the parts, look at all the stuff that I have cut out for future use. And that way so I fussy cut in front of the television, and I just have gobs of stuff in there, so that in the future I am ready. If I decide to use the stamp set, I don't have to do a lot of work. So there you go. That is how I'm storing that. Okay. That is so much fun. I made a whole bunch of those, as you know. Now, I want to chat about the upcoming special. I am learning a lot. Let me just get this where I can move it. I'm learning a lot about Stampin' Up, okay? And one of the things I'm learning is that I think, my belief is that they're trying to slowly move people to online ordering because it is a way that they can bring in a lot of inventory on a short-term basis and not have to have so many catalogs. I appreciate that because I don't necessarily love just what's in the annual catalog. I want more, right? And we all do. I've heard from all of you that you want more. So when you are shopping, yours will be turquoise. There are several categories under the menu. This Close to My Heart products is one that shows you what is available that they have, you know, purchased from Close to My Heart. And you can see all the new stuff and what's left of the other items from last month. And they still have stickers, stamp sets. They still have some of the dots, which is a great thing. I just, as I was putting together my special kit giveaway for June, I realized I was like almost out of red dots. So those are awesome. Anyway, so that is one way to locate things. Sorry, this is the back side, so mine keeps going back. Okay, and then you can also sort different ways, but I want you to really pay attention to this one thing right here. It says online exclusives. July 3rd is the date when Stampin' Up! Is going to have a new batch of offerings of online exclusives. And right now they have it open to demonstrators to pre-order. So I'm going to show you the sneak peek of what's coming in July. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I have purchased doing the online exclusive. So one of the things, it's kind of a big deal. I'm going to move my lights around so that I don't get so much glare. Christmas in July is a really big deal for a lot of people. I don't tend to do Christmas in July, but there are a couple of Christmas bundles. This bundle is nice. It's got the paper, all of the dies, some ribbon, some gems, and the stamp set. Or you can just buy the stamps and dies. This little sled set is so adorable, and I'm considering it. My problem is I don't like to buy tons of Christmas. I have so much Christmas. I'm nervous about stocking up on Christmas now and then not knowing whether or not I'm going to want something different. But that one is very tempting. I haven't bought it. They have this Halloween one, which I bought. I'll show you in person. This cute little snow globe type set. And this one would work with that wagon set. And it's like an additional little set of things that could go in the wagon or even in the flower cart or, you know, any kind of, it could go inside. Here's another little playful ghosts, which is like a Halloween set. They have some really cool gold mercury vellum. So it's a a shimmery gold vellum. This season of gold paper is very wintry, and I went ahead and got it because I think it's a little versatile. This one is a big one. I looked at that and immediately went, oh, Harry Potter, because that train is too cool. And I'm always looking for things that would work great on my Disney pages and Universal pages. But I did not buy it yet, but it's gorgeous. And I think we're going to see some cool artwork on that. There's a new everyday greetings. There's some new vellum, some adhesive back dots, more greetings, but of Christmas season. This little naughty and nice, and it was really cute, and I thought it would work really good with my mailbox that I have, my little post office box, so I bought it. There are some new kits. Now, I have a kit to show you. This one is gorgeous. And my first thought was, wow, this would be really nice for like sympathy or something. And then I started thinking, well, it's thistles. I don't know thistles, but it's beautiful. I'm just not sure. Little dots. And then they break into the bundles, and there's a new travel set, like mini album. I'm gonna show you. I bought the old one, and I just hadn't ever shown it yet, but it's very similar to this, so I'll show you. These trees I've purchased and haven't received. The ribbon. The one thing I recommended, they asked for our recommendations for Stampin' Up, and my recommendation is it's annoying to have the die of a product so far away from the bundle. Like, have the bundle, have the stamp, have the die all together. Like this Halloween thing these should be up with the other bundle. It should just be an option so you can see everything that's offered. And then there's these leaves. There's quite a few things coming in July. I think that's the bulk of it. Oh yeah, there's this little pumpkin set. It's really pretty. I've already started seeing people showing that on YouTube. So yeah, the online exclusives has a lot of things that aren't available in the catalog. And if you're not totally thrilled by what you see in the catalog, check that out. Okay, I want to show you this kit thing. So the card kits come in a box like this. When you open them up, sorry, I added some extra stuff in here. This is like the You Rock one. I think that's what it's called. Rock Legend kit. And I bought it because I have some concert photos to do, and I wanted to make this into scrapbook pages. I don't have a use for the cards. The cards are, let me just turn around my lights again. You Are a Legend and You Rock, Happy Birthday. That one's really cute. I could use one. I can't use 4 of them. I can't use 4 of these. But I have the scrapbook page idea appeals to me. So this is how the kits come. And I just want to raise my camera, and I'm going to show you the pages that I made. So this is the page I put online yesterday. I did end up adding some black stars to it because most of you were like, only use red if your photos have red. And I gotta be honest, I just did my red pictures on the next one I'm gonna show you. And so I thought this would be really great for a couple of the concerts that I've seen lately. And I basically used the card pieces as part of the layout. So this is a card base cut in half. The yellow, you can even see the score line if you look hard. But that is a card base and a card base. I just made it into a piece of card pattern, basically. The stars were vellum, and I sponged some ink on them to make them kind of match the guitars. This is 3 card base fronts, and I just think that it turned out really cute. I think this is a good layout for some of the concerts I've been going to. I did the same thing on this one using the same kit. So basically I cut the envelopes apart. So one of the things that I threw in here, in this box, like the inside of the envelopes, like you can kind of see the lick stick thing there. I just cut that part off. And then I used the rest of it like patterned paper. And so this one was a full envelope that I basically used as a mat for my photo. And then on this side, I cut strips. So I don't have full sheets of red behind this, just a strip, and a couple of strips here. So I was able to cut this down in a way to use on my page. These are extra, these little black pieces were part of the kit. And if you look at the card, you can see the card base has that wonky, weird black and white front, but then there's a little black piece that goes on top of it, and that's what these are that I use to mat my photos. So this is how I used my card kit. These stars are really cool. They're very thick. They're really nice. And there's the vellum star. So only thing I added to this was I used a stamp for the title, and I did add these little yellow pieces. I wouldn't have had to. I could have used, you know, this yellow, but I did add this because I just felt like it needed balance. Anyway, there will be a photo of that coming up this weekend sometime so that you can look at it closer, zoom in if you want. Anyway, so think about your kits and how you're using them. Okay, there's that one. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this glass mat. So I have been wanting a glass mat for my table for a while, and I just wanted to try it. And I was going to buy the Tim Holtz one because it's inexpensive. It fits my table, but it is black. And I keep hearing that like the glare from the camera on black is really bad. And so I didn't know if I would be able to use it very well on camera. So Stampin' Up, starting in July, will have these. They're $60. Yeah, a little higher than the Tim Holtz one. But it has these like protective things on the corners, which I'm going to take off. I don't need them. It's raised just a little bit. It has like bumper feet. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there you can. Right there. So that it's raised a little bit. There was a person online who did a video on these, and she put like a magnetic board behind it and made it magnetic. I don't think I need it magnetic. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. It also comes with this like silicone mat and a tray. And the silicone, this is actually not, this is like a stamp chamois. This is like a stamp chamois. And it's got like it's got the same feel as a stamp chamois, but it's not, I don't know, it's a silicone wipe of some kind, okay? You can tell. It's like a rubbery plastic kind of thing, but people dampen it and use it as a rag. So I'm interested to try that out because, you know, I have a lot of those rags. And then this is like a little tray that you can use. This is definitely a silicone tray that you can use when you're watercoloring or whatever, or if you're using your inks, you know, it'll keep them from scooching around. It won't move off of your surface. So just like I use my silicone pot holder, it's the same material, you know, but this, it really is good and in place. All right. So I just wanted to show you that because that is coming up available for customers, which is kind of cool. These are the 2 new paper packs coming up in July. And actually, this one I think is the vellum. So I went ahead and got, I wanted to see, you know, I wanted to see their product. So a couple of sheets of vellum. This is thick. This is not the kind of vellum you can see through really easily. So like I have like a little, one of those happy birthday messages here. That's how, you can't see through it very well. Can, but it's thick. And then what else is in here? There's a couple of sheets of kind of a all over greenery print, and then a couple sheets of this like light white print. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the pattern of like denim jeans. That's what it looks like. Okay, so I went ahead and got the vellum, and then I went ahead and got the paper pack. I don't need more paper, but I went ahead, I think this is the one I got a bundle. I went ahead and just broke out and got the bundle because I'm still a little curious about some of the Stampin' Up products. And so, oh look, 2-sided, great. So it's got like a, that's gold foil on there, is really pretty. Boy, I don't know if that shows on camera, but it's gorgeous. Not so crazy about the dots. The dots to me, this dotted print like this screams 1990, 1980s. I can't help it. I don't like it. And then the all over greenery. I love the green print with it. It's like an olive. Woo, that's pretty. It's gold diamonds. It's like blinding me right now. But it's a really fine print diamond. The back, ooh, pretty. That green. Another olivey green. The bells, a lot of people are, these bells, people are talking about them. Some people love them, some people hate them. I just think they're too long. They're too long, but they're pretty. And what's also cool about this is that the dies cut this paper. So if you don't want to, you know, stamp and color bells, that is, you could use your dies, just like I did with the coffee cups. Love the plaid, you know, I love plaids. Ooh, that's pretty too. Another big, bold, beautiful gold foil. And an all over green. At least they put some solids, which is really kind of nice so that you can, oh, I think that might be my favorite. It's like little stars. Can you see it? It's so shimmery. It's kind of hard to capture that. And then the back. All right. So there is the paper pack. It's a good one. And I could totally see adding this with white, red, gold foil, you know, solid colors. You could put this with a scarlet color or a pink. Okay, that's nice. The other part of that bundle, there was some ribbon. This is just satin ribbon in vanilla. And I did go ahead and get the little berry dots. Okay, let's see what else I got here. Hold on, I gotta get my stack. Okay. I definitely went a little crazy on stamp sets because I don't need more stamp sets, but I keep buying them, right? But I have a plan. All of them, I thought, okay, I have a plan. This one is the Naughty and Nice one. And what I like about it is that the images are small enough that I can use this with that cool mailbox. And I thought it would be really cute to make it look like, put like the Santa hat or the bow, you know, on the mailbox. I just thought that would look really neat. It offers some options. I don't understand like what this is for. Like what did they intend for the feet and the hat? I can't wait to see what other people do with it, because it's like, do you put it on photos? do you I don't know, put it, I don't know what people are going to do that. I am not sure. I have been wanting the exposed brick embossing folder for a while because I have been playing with the plants, the potted plants, and I wanted a cool background for that. And so I bought 2 embossing folders that I thought would work. One of them is this brick one, and one of them is this distressed tile. And so the brick one is a big, you know, 6x6, and then this one is more standard card size, 4.5 by 6.25. Okay. All right, I told you I bought that Halloween set. Of course I bought that Halloween set. You guys know me. I love this stuff. Now, the interesting thing about the Halloween set are the dies. And this is something that I'm kind of intrigued by with the whole Stampin' Up thing, is that the dies and the stamps don't necessarily match. So, for example, I have a bird, right? Raven, whatever. I have the cauldron, and I think it matches the real cauldron. Yeah, the real cauldron is a little bigger than the picture on the front. But I have the cauldron, I have the bird, I have several sizes of the bubbles, right? And then the cat. And this is the books. Okay, now I have all of these dies that don't go, they go, but they don't coordinate with a stamp. So these bubbles will work. Like these bubbles, I can mess around with these and make these all work. So the bubbles I feel like coordinate. But there's a broom. That's interesting. There is like goo to go over the edge of your cauldron. Fun. And then I am not entirely sure what this is. Help me. I don't know. Is it something that's like a spoon or something that sticks out of the cauldron? I'm not totally sure with that. Someone help me. This one I had to ask about. I had to actually look it up because the photo online shows these as handles for the die cut cauldron. And I was like, oh, Okay, but it has a handle, but that's only if you stamp it. If you die cut it out, then you have, it's just different. Anyway, I'm fascinated by and intrigued by the stamps, okay? Stamps and dies are an interesting thing, and I don't think I will be buying a stamp set without a die set with the Stampin' Up world. And I think that's why they're so expensive, is because they give you gobs. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, so I got the holiday greetings because by Christmas, I am going to I'm not supposed to show close to my heart anymore. Now, it all depends on if y'all turn me in. And I'm small potatoes in the Stampin' Up world, but I'm sure I need to show Stampin' Up. So this is an interesting thing though. Look at those dies. They're tags and labels and stuff. If you did nothing but get the dies, that's a nice set. That is a really nice set. You wouldn't necessarily need the words if you have words already, but this is great for making the fronts of cards and scrapbook label tags and all kinds of stuff. I'm a little on the fence on the fonts because they're a little flourishy, and I don't tend to go for super flourishy greetings. I love the type style on these, but I don't tend to do flourishy. And a combo of the two, I know that's the look. I'm so old-fashioned, you guys. Golden greenery. This is the set that came with that bundle where you get the bells, and look, you get the shade and the highlight, so that's pretty good. You get the greenery, which is what drew me. And then a couple of sheets, I say a couple of sheets of dies because I had to stack them. There were so many. So these greenery pieces here don't match the stamps. That's the thing that's so interesting. Some of them match perfectly. Like this one matches, and this one and this one, the bells. Look at how many little berries. Love that you can cut so many at once. But then you get all these other greenery pieces that don't match the stamps. I'm fascinated by this idea. So yeah, I'm like, okay, even if you did not buy, even if you didn't want to buy the stamp set, the dies alone are a nice set. It's interesting to me. Okay, the other set that I got as a bundle kind of thing are the leaves. Now these fonts I like, they're just small. I can't wait till Stampin' Up comes out with their scrapbooking larger fonts because that'll make me happy. But these leaves, yes, fall, but maybe not just fall. Maybe I could just do those in green and use those on scrapbook pages. Look how big they are. This is my hand. This is how big the stamp is. It's big. So these are really gonna make for some very nice scrapbook pages. I think we're gonna see a lot of these especially from previous CTMH makers, because these are sized correctly for scrapbook layouts. Look at that. Now, this embossing, this matches the embossing folder. So here we are again with another embossing folder and die match, kind of like those sand dollars, and it just nests in very nicely and will cut that image out. all in one pass if that's what you wish. So this is something that is just very fascinating to me, like what you can emboss anything and then cut it out. So I love that idea, and I think I'm going to play with some watercolor, like just do some cool splotching and watercoloring and things. I have no idea how I have this on here. There we go. Anyway, I thought that was a great combo, and I think we're going to see a lot of it. So there you go. And then old stuff that I got a while back that I forgot to show you. This In the Grove. I was not interested in this, okay? This is not exactly my style. But then I started thinking about this lake paper that Close to My Heart has, and we have these trees which can be used for any forest scene at any time of year. The mountains, okay, I have that, what's it called? Heather, what's that called? The one with the little ski lift thing. And I thought, wouldn't that be cute under it? I need something more, and I love these mountains. They're more, anyway, the little fox, meh. This right here, that scene, I need to stamp that to see if that would look good as a beach on brown, like a seagrass or sea oats. It really looks like it. I know it's made to look like a grassy scene, or you could even put it at the base of the mountains. It looks like it matches to look like trees, but I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of possibilities. And so the more I started thinking about it, the more I thought I need it. So again, here's the dies, and the dies are not in exact coordination. So we have the mountains, and we have the grassy scene, and we have the trees and the little fox. And now we have all the extras. So this one, for example, that will make a very cool Christmas card. I love those cards that have the birch trees. Love the idea of that. And so I'll probably make a few of those. There's a little squirrel, a little rabbit. They're very small. I mean, look, there's my thumbnail. Look how tiny that is. Tiny. And then I think this goes with the mountain. Like to add like a snow cap. I think that's what that's for. And then you have this little ridge line of trees. And that could go at the bottom. It could go, it helps you make a scene. So, wow. What do you think about that? That's really wild, isn't it? Lots of options here. And I don't know. I was on the fence about getting them, but here I am. I got them. I haven't even put them away yet because I wasn't ready mentally to get these out. These are a little out of season for me, but we'll see. And then I was looking for something fun. I'm so tired of all this formal stuff. I need fun. And so, yes, I agree. A little vignette on a scrap page. And if you like the Lake Life paper, but you don't boat, I think I think this set is a good possibility if you're an outdoor hiker or something. Okay, anyway, I know this is not everyone's taste, but ignore for a moment the pop can, okay? Because the pop can is a little weird. But let's just ignore that for a second and look at what else is in here, because there is my wedge of lime, lemon, orange that I have been wanting for that other set. Cherries, strawberries, lemon. Now, I love the play on words. You're so delightful. So cute. Now, I have several pop themed other brand items. So this appealed to me anyway, because I love all of this pop Fizz-tastic extra bubbly. I love all of this. And I love the idea of making it look kind of retro, or, you know, using those bold colors of that full of life paper or whatever. But then you have these bubbles. Now look at those bubbles out of theme, and think about swimming, fish, anything. Your kids are blowing bubbles. You have pictures of kids blowing bubbles. Imagine that being, I mean, they're bubbles. You can use them for anything, but I really love the idea of using those on some of my fishy water scenes. This too. Look at that. Wouldn't that be cute with a jumping fish or a shark coming out of the water with these giant, it makes it look a little more playful. I love it. I love that. And I like the soda can. So I'm cool with that too. So I don't know how big. Look at how big the dies are. The dies, you guys. Look at that. That is cool. Yes, swimming page. Yes, exactly. I like that the dies don't just cut out the soda can, but it has this that you could cut out in silver and do the little pop tab. Here's a separate little label that you could put on the can. But the bubbles sold me on it. I need the bubbles. Look at that. That is too cool. And they're big, which is great. Mermaid. I have a lot of mermaid. I am almost tempted to store these bubbles with my water things instead of with my food things, because I think I'll use them a lot with that. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I've been purchasing, which is crazy. I'm looking around to see if I missed anything. Oh, yep. I missed one more thing. Okay, so the other thing, these kits intrigue me a little bit. I'm not ready to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, where you get the cards. I do not want to get a pack of cards like this Rock Legend kit every month, where you're making a lot of the same card over and over. You know, that's not my style. I need a lot of variety. So the individual kits, though, are kind of intriguing to me, and I wanted to see what was included. So this is the Love This Memory Notebook kit. Now, there is a Parakeet Party limeade style Stampin' Spot. There is a stamp set, which is great because it's mostly messages, which is my kind of messages. Life is cool. Shine on. Just enjoy. Smile every day. High five. Be beautiful. Shake it off. The best. Yay. Love this. Okay, just, it's a good day. Those are my style of stamps. And then you get an instruction sheet. Now, the book itself is one, I'm trying to think of what brand is it that makes this It's not We Are Memory Keepers. But I recognize this. They come in 2 packs often at the stores, but basically it's just a journal planner style memory type book. As a matter of fact, oh my gosh, I think I have a couple of them up here that I was using as grid paper for doodling one time. So I'll have to get those out and see what I did with them. But you can see there's instructions on what you can do with each page, step by step, which is really great. And you can make your own little travel notebook. And it has heavy duty, these almost feel like vinyl stickers. They're heavy duty alphabet stickers. These are not paper, normal paper. These, they feel like vinyl. They're kind of cool, kind of slickish. These are like die cut pop outs. I do not love the childish looking bold color of this, but I do think it would be really fun for, like, if we were still doing Girl Scouts, or if I had grandkids or something. This is kid colors. I mean, look, they're one-sided, but these would make really fun pages and memories for them. And these are more stickers. These are more like paper. They're heavy. Like more, they're a little bit more like the Close to My Heart style thickness of stickers. Look at all of the, you know, when you're thinking of doing a book this small, where every page could be essentially taken up by a photo, you don't have a lot of decorating space if you use full-size photos. So it makes sense that there would be a lot of these little arrow things and tab things to use. White labels, we have 2 pages of those. Lots of journaling potential there. Oh my gosh, look at that. It is, what is it called? Holographic? Holographic. You can really see the rainbow in the camera. You can't see it in life as well as in the camera, but it is, that's something. And then there's a fun little pocket page that they put together for you that you already has tear tape on it. You can just attach it. More of those die cuts. Several of the, what are they called? Pocket memory keeping kind of things. You get your adhesive and some silver washi, and you get a little mini stamp block. It's a narrow one. I'd say a 1/4 of an inch or so, maybe a little more. Yeah, just over 1/4 of an inch. But that would get you going. You could take this with I think you'd want a pair of scissors and your photos and go. That's what I think. I think this is really kind of cute. And if you don't want to do it, use all of this in just this book. You could totally do this on a scrapbook page or make some cards out of it. Okay, and then I got one more. Like I said, I've decided I'm fascinated by these. I needed to buy a few. This one is called Colorful Kaleidoscope, and it's been around for a while. It's not their newest one, but I love, love, love the cards that it makes, and I really do believe I could make the cards exactly the way they show them and be perfectly content. Which is unusual for me because, you know, I tweak things all the time. But they have really cool layers. They came with these little sticky dots. I'm unimpressed with those. I don't even know. They're just, to me, they're nothing. I need dimension. These are cool die cut foil, die cut for like messages. Look at the card bases, you guys. So 1, 2, 3 of those style. Look at that one. Does that not look cool? It's got foil on it. It would make a very awesome winter page, which I am all on board for. I'm totally going to do this in one of my lives because I love it so much. And here we are with it being like 90 degrees today, and I'm like, ooh, let's do snowflakes. And look at this, 3 of those. So it makes 9 cards. And then there's the layering pieces that go on top, which are you could totally do this on your own on Cricut. Would I? No, I would not. But you can see just how cool those layering pieces are. And it's a very interesting twist to this kit for me. You get foam tape strips, so it will pop those layers up, and they're thin so that you don't have to cut them down, kind of like how I had that foam tape on a spool yesterday. You get dimension dots, and oh, you know what? Maybe these little dots that I'm unimpressed with are actually adhesive. What do you think, Heather? Are those adhesive? I just need to mess with them, these little doodads. It's possible that those are just double-sided adhesive. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it says 3. I bet that's what it is, like double-sided tape into a dot, so it's adhesive. Okay, and then a block, a Stampin' Spot in gray granite, and lots of messages wishing you a magical birthday. Thank you, and I love you so much, and may your day be filled with light and love, and just because you're special to me. So generic enough. Now, if you were gonna make this into a scrapbook page, kind of like I did with my rock ones, look at the inside of those envelopes. Ah, very nice. And the colors are great. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I have seen a lot, there are makers online who take these pieces and maybe add a little bit of cardstock to them, or break these up and make like 30 cards, and you know, they do crazy things with these kits. So you might look that up too. I'm never going to be one of those people. I don't like to buy a lot of kits, but here I am. Yes, thank you, glue dots, thank you. Anyway, so this one's my favorite, and I bought this one out of curiosity, the memory one, and then the Rockstar one I had a plan for. So there you go. And then I went for the glass mat. I was gonna do the Tim Holtz one. I had it all in my cart and ready to roll, and it's on sale this week for like 25 bucks, which is like, what a deal. So I seriously thought of buying it. It's a little bigger. This one has a grid on it of 13 by 13, okay? And then it has a little space over here. So I want to say it's like 17 inches total or something like that. 17 by 14, almost 14. And so it kind of fits perfect for my camera space, right? But if you want to buy this, take a look at this one and the Tim Holtz one and decide which one you like better. After I've had a lot of black shiny stuff, and it shows every little fingerprint, I decided to go with the white. So we will see how much I love it. And I'll tell you every time I use it. Yes, I haven't used it yet, Heather, but I'm going to try. And obviously, I still have my all-purpose mat underneath. So, and I love this, as you know, because it really does protect the surface of my desk, which is really nice. And this is raised a little bit. You know, one of the things about having something raised is you have a tendency to not put everything on it. Like you have a tendency to move things off to the side. And so it keeps you have by nature, you keep a workspace this big, you know? So far, my only beef is that it has centimeters at the top and down the right side, and then it has inches down the left side and at the bottom. And when I measure, like if I'm measuring something on camera, I have a tendency to want to use the ruler wherever it is, and I've noticed I'm tending to want it here. So I tried to flip it upside down. So you might see it upside down once in a while, just because of how I use my ruler. I don't tend to bring things down to this bottom left-hand corner to measure. So, yeah, Tailored Expressions has a new one that's they're advertising, and I think it's magnetic. I don't think I want the magnetic one because that means every time I use my magnetic close to my heart pads, my scissors, my little pin from my, everything I use that's magnetic or metal like this would attach to my surface. And I like to be able to scooch things around. So I thought about playing with there was somebody online who put a big magnetic, like a big metal sheet under, and where you could make it magnetic if you want to, but I don't know that I need it. So we are memory keepers, yes, and I think theirs is very big. One of them is like huge. It's like almost 30 inches wide. I don't want one that big. My desk space isn't that big. From here, I have about 1.5 feet on my left. And from here, I have about 2 feet on my right. And that 2 feet is totally covered in stuff. My blocks and my scraps and my adhesives and my drink and stuff. I don't want my mat to be so big. So it's I tried for a long time. I was using a self-healing quilting style mat because I liked the grid on it. And it was too big. It was just simply too big. And also, I like that this one has like bumper feet on the bottom and it keeps it from scooching around, because I have an old glass mat from like 1980. I think I got it. I actually went to like Aero Glass and had them cut it for me because I wanted to be able to cut on it. That was the other thing, that you can cut on this mat and it won't do anything to it, which is really nice because I use a lot of my blades. So now glass makes your blade dull really fast, and that was the reason I got rid of I didn't get rid of, but I stopped using my other glass mat and I went to self-healing for these kind of things. But I do have one and it's thicker. The one I had cut is actually thicker than this one, but it's smaller. I'm not exactly sure where it is right now because I haven't used it for so. Oh, here it is. Here's my old glass mat that I had cut in like the 1980s. I had this cut before Jen was born. And the problem is I need to put bumpers on it if I was going to use it on my desk because it slides around and it's tempered. But it was really nice to have for messy work. And it's old, dusty. I haven't used it for a long time, but obviously I have it in my drawer right here next to me because I used to use it every single day. Okay, well, wow, you guys. I'm on here for an hour and a half this morning. This is crazy. I'm glad, thank goodness. So here's the card I made. I hope you guys love it. I hope you love learning how to make your own wobbles because action wobbles are really fun, but they can get expensive if you're gonna do anything bulk. So, okay, I like the width. 14 by 14 would not be big enough. It would not. I learned that with the Versamat. This, the Close to My Heart Versamat is, you know, is like a square. It is not big enough. And if I put two of them side by side, it's like too big for my space to just keep on them every day. I love the surface. It just isn't, it's perfect when you're working on one page at a time. It's not as perfect for my work surface. If I double it, I don't have enough space on my desk. So yeah, 14 by 14, not big enough. Think about like, if you've used the Close to My Heart, like grid paper, this is the pad of paper. And it is, look, it is almost exactly the same size. It is 1 inch taller. It is almost identical. There's like a ½ inch over here, and it's 1 inch right there. So it's almost identical, and this is actually a really nice size. So that's what made me think that this one would work. And I like this for like stamping off and messy work, and it's really nice. And I think this is, see how it has inches at the top. I'm just used to it. I'm just used to being able to measure my inches really easy. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Have a good afternoon. Have a great weekend. Share what you're making. Everybody's so busy right now, but if you're making anything, I want to see pictures of it. Put it online. Put it on here. The more we all see, the more inspired we will be. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.